family, it is the doll baby. I'm on here today to do the woman tag. I watched this. I forgot who originally did this tag, but I watched this yesterday on MKBlady's channel, and hers was extremely funny, and I did enjoy it. I think the last question I may not have gotten correctly, but I'm going to tell you what I came up with, you guys. I got to put on my glasses so I can read it. I had to write them down because I had so many different answers, and I want to keep it kind of short. But one of the questions was what every woman should learn to do. And this is just my perspective, my opinion, and I think what every woman should learn to do, number one would be, and that's even before she comes into being herself, and that would be to stand on her own. Every woman should learn to stand on her own and have her own before she gets involved in any relationship, before she gets out on her own, so she would never have to depend on a man. That would be my number one thing. If I had a daughter, I have a son, and I taught that to my son as well, that should be the first thing that a woman should learn. Have your own, stand on your own. Don't ever depend on a man. Don't ever get yourself in a situation that you will have to rely on a man as your sole support or your life, period. So that would be my main thing that a woman should learn, even as being a girl before she comes into a womanhood, to stand on your own. You know, be yourself, be your own individual person, and know that without this man in your life, or even if you don't have a man, if you choose to have a partner as a woman, know that you can stand by yourself. I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say. I think that's the first lesson you should learn as being a woman, being independent. And that should be your number one lesson being learned as a woman. Okay, number two books that every woman should read. My books of choice would probably be, and the reason why I say this is because they are my favorites, and they were the most influential, and I'm not pronouncing that correctly, books that I've read will probably be The Miseducation of the Negro, and that would be by, I believe, Carter G. Woodson, and I read that when I was in college, and it was an elective class I read it in, and that book was super deep, and it talked about the oppression and all of that. I mean, it just really woke me up. And you hear about it, you see movies and stuff like that, but that just went deep. So if you just ever want to know about America and being black in America and what it has done to our people and stuff like that, that's a great book to read. Number two was a great read for me, and it was the first book I ever read and got into reading, because I am an avid reader. I never said that on camera, but I read a lot of books. And one of my first books that I ever read, and read it from front to back, and I did it in a day and a half, and I was never a reader, and that was my very first book. And besides, in high school and college, when you were made to read, was The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Soldier. That was an excellent book, and it opened up me to a whole new world. And I don't want to tell you about the book, but if you're ever into urban life and reading about that, that is a terrific book. Get it. Okay, the third question was 3 things a woman should have. I think, and I don't know if you mean by material things or anything, but the first thing that popped in my mind was not material things. So I think 3 things a woman should have is self-respect should be number one, because that's just the way that you carry yourself and go ahead in life. And then it should be self-esteem, because with self-esteem brings self-respect. And then I have so many of them, so I had to write it down. And of course, hygienes is very important as a woman. That is the number one thing to have. Now I can go on to say a whole lot of other stuff, you know, if you want to get into material things, but they are the main things: self-respect, self-esteem, and hygienes. I can't remember what the very last one was, but I just wrote down, know what you want out of life, and don't settle, because so much of us women out here, we settle for things just to have a man, or we settle for situations just to make it. So know what you want. Don't be afraid to stand up and say, this is what I want. I don't want any less. This is what I'm not going to accept, and stay with it. And that's how I feel about the woman's tag, and that's what I think, and this is what I learned through my journey as being a woman and being the age that I am now. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoy, and I'm tagging all my old and new subscribers and anybody watching that would like to join in. And the questions were, again, let me say them really quick, and the last one I'm not too sure, but the first one was what every woman should learn to do, and 2 books that every woman should read, and 3 things a woman should have was number 3. And I can't remember what the last one was, but I just put what you should do, you know, in maintaining yourself as a woman. So thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Love you guys. Bye bye.